But what has happened is movement restriction has really put us down everywhere.
No, in fact, that has added to the problem, if you ask me. The more you are trying to control, the more it is creating a problem. People want to break rules.
They are finding ways and means to break them, not just breaking ways and means. And that is making again the system and the government, how do I still make it strong and strict?
See, they were saying cases are coming down. In the last 1 week, they have opened 3 new COVID care centers.
I see.
So if the cases are coming down, then why they are opening 3 centers? So this is something which the public only knows, that cases are coming down. That is what is reported in the newspaper. Since I cater to the centers, I have added 3 centers.
So in reality, the picture could be different.
Yes. Testing has come down, sir. So that is one of the reasons why, figures, we are not getting the correct figures.
Yes, sir. What you say is right. Because just 3 days back, there was a news paper item in Business Line. Some of the American universities have conducted the mathematical model research on the actual numbers in India, what could probably be. And they say what is reported is just 1/3 of the realities.
Very bad, very bad. Sad it is.
So,
I mean,
if that is the case, then if we are looking at 1,27,000 yesterday, it could be almost 4 lakhs.
Yeah. True. No, that is true, sir. That is true. It's not, it's underreported.
Himal, say, I am ready. Can we begin? I wish a small introduction of yours. We can start.
Yeah, we can start off, sir. Absolutely no worries. Absolutely.
Good morning to all of you on this very important day as far as learning is concerned. And we have with us a very eminent friend of ours, institution, and a personal friend, Sri Hemal Desai. Hemal Desai currently is heading the property, that is Hotel Mayur Aditya, which is next to our Navlo Bridge on the way to Dharwad. Hemal Desai is out and out man from services sector. Though he is qualified with a technical background, but he has made his career all the way for last over 2+ decades, and even more perhaps on the side of services. And over a period of time, he has gained enough insights and knowledge into how does the service sector work. And that has made him the capable person today this session is concerned. He is not new to our institution. He has been conducting this session. I think you are the 4th batch he has been addressing. The only difference is last 3 batches he addressed in the classroom with you and I in front of each other. But this time, because of the situation what we are, we are forced to ask him to come online. And he has obliged us by accepting our invitation. And today he'll be speaking on the control systems and practices which he has been successfully practicing in the service sector, in particular in his organization, Hotel Mayur Aditya. It's one of the best managed properties, I can say. I have seen the place and I have taken very early batch to his property. He was very kind and man from hospitality. I think not much to speak. It was absolutely the best what we got. Always amenable to the involvement in academics, and he has participated in various our academic discussions at university level, even at our institution level. And as one can see, being a man from service sector, he is always up to date with his attire. And if you spend one day with him, I'm sure one need not ask the questions. You just understand how a person should work in service sector, the attitude, the aptitude, the dressmaking, and whether you meet him at 9 o'clock early in the morning in his office or in the evening at 7 o'clock, you will find same kind of a warmth and welcome on his face. And that is perhaps one of the biggest learning what we can take from a person like Sri Desai. And it's indeed a pleasure to have him with us today for this very important session on the control systems and practice. And as we have been discussing in our subject, that service sector also has these systems and practices, because any organization cannot run without system, be it a manufacturing or service or project for that matter. And here is a live example, as we are going to hear from him, as to how he's managing the service sector. He has been associated, as I say, with Mahir Aditya for the last 2 years. Prior to that, he was with Travel In, which is currently the other name what we have next to prior to the bridge there. And that is how, over a period of time, he has gained his own experiences, and he is a person who is using that experience for the benefit of us and you students' life, so that we get the hands-on knowledge about his experience and how the things work when it comes to putting the systems in practice. With this brief, on behalf of the institution, on your behalf, I welcome Premal Desai this time for a change online and look forward to a session. Sri Desai, your PPTs have been there with us. If you want to monitor on yourself, no problem, or one of our students will help you in managing the PPT. Just that if you are not managing, please tell the student when you want to change the slide. So she will be able to do it.
Yes.
Her name is Mansi. She will do it. Okay. Just
Good
let us
morning,
know.
everybody. Good morning, everybody. Sir, I am really humbled by your great enthusiasm and kind words that you have said for me. It is always a pleasure to come to your business school, and because you are always keeping it bubbling with activity. I can see on LinkedIn every time there is a session, it is uploaded. So you are places. So I really compliment you that in spite of this adversity of the pandemic times, you have kept things going. And I would like to say that the current batch is getting greatly benefited, that in spite of the adversity of the pandemic, they are learning by these sessions that you have been conducted by various eminent people from different walks of life, and they are getting an insight into different industries. So I compliment you on that, and thank you very, very much for a brief introduction, and I don't need that introduction. So first of all, I would like to congratulate this batch, and I wish them that they become very good managers, team leaders, and industry leaders in the times to come. So the session today that we have, what I'm trying to do is, these control systems, what sir has asked me to speak on, is one thing, and we're going to have little data that I have from my organization, which I'm going to share. Also, we have another vertical in our industry, which is the Indira canteens that we run. So there is some data available on that. I wanted to add data from my industrial catering unit. So we are currently into that, and I couldn't do that. But nevertheless, prior to starting my session, I take this opportunity to invite all of you once, as and when this pandemic or the lockdown opens up, to visit all our units and see for yourself what actually is happening, because seeing is learning. It will give you better depth and insight. What happens in classroom is a very controlled environment. So when you go out, it is an uncontrolled environment. There are a lot of dynamic situations. So this is something which you have to see and experience. And then I have a very little to share about our tourism industry. And I would be very happy, and I'll really look forward that I get questions not only on the session, but even otherwise. If I can share something or throw light on certain queries that you may have, I'll be very happy doing that. So in these three parts, I would like to speak today. And so we will start. As sir said, I will probably try to share the PPT on my end. If it works, well and good. If it does not, then I will come back to you for help. All the best. Thank you. Can you see the screen, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We are going to be speaking about control systems that we use in our organization, or system and practices. So over a period of your learning in the business school, people at different classes or different subjects, they would have spoken about standard operating procedures, practices, do's and don'ts, statistical data, and such things which are vital, or data which is vital to an organization. Currently, we have so much of data which is flowing, and many a times we really don't know what to do with this data. Data is very vital. The more you crunch it, the more insight it gives you, the more control it gives you. So as managers, no matter what area of the organization or what industry you work, you will need to first go through the entire loop of your process or your product and understand, even if you're not handling the entire end-to-end operation, but still you need to understand where it is starting and where it is going. Having understood that, you will get an insight into what is the final product or the service that the customer is expecting or is deriving, and what is your role within that setup or that particular process. Having understood that, within that area, you have to understand and list down what is critical to that process or that product that you are managing, so that that key area you are able to set a control or a check point or a benchmark, so that you know where a scale is. You're setting a scale and you are going back and forth and seeing whether you are on track or not. So basically, this is where this is what we are going to be talking a little more with few examples. So let's start with something which is in the books, in the text that we read, and which gets us marks in the exam. So what we have is control system and practices. So what is a control system? What do you mean by control? Control is something that we are trying to look into, or trying to devise a mechanism where we are trying to get data, or try to hold on to certain parameters which don't deviate and which do not affect the final product or the process quality. So in any organization, irrespective of it being in manufacturing, service, or process, supply chain, if you think about it, you pick up any industry, there will probably be they are divided or classified as preventive, detective, and corrective. As the name suggests, these checks and pointers have different things to achieve. So I don't have to explain these to you. You are quite conversant with these. Now, the other end, these are the controls, but on the other end, what actually happens at the ground? What is the practice? What is the SOP? And at many a times, the SOPs which are put in place also need to be revalidated, because the current environment that we are in is dynamic. You never know when the customer requirement will change. You never know what the product or how it will behave, or what competition is going to throw. One very recent at this junction for our food industry, who had thought about 2 years ago or so that online delivery platform will become so important? Today, in spite of the lockdown, the only guys who are allowed to run around are food delivery guys, or food delivery portals or organizations, and they are contributing to the economy or to the business, which was not there earlier. This was never thought of. So That's why this needs to be time and again measured, changed, modified, and taken out. The PDC cycle that you learn in management. Now, before we start off, you may be working for any organization, but considering that organization would have done certain goal setting, and what is a goal, or what is it that the organization is trying to achieve. So let us say my goal is in my organization to cut my cost of what you call meal cost. I'll take it as meal cost by 1%. So that's my goal. Now, what am I going to do to put it in action? I'm going to make a list of areas that will help me achieve this goal. What could that be? Get a better rate from the vendor, get better vendors, get credit line from the vendors. These are actionable. Now, having put that, I will need people who know how this is to be done, where it is to be done, when it is to be done. So those are the guys who are going to drive it. Over a period of time, maybe on a weekly, monthly, as the duration be, these things have to be measured. My Kulkarni sir will know, Guruji was there, Mr. Ramesh Patil used to always tell me, Hemal, what you cannot measure, you cannot improve. I still live by that. If there is something you cannot measure, you cannot improve. So this is something which is very vital. Always remember that you need to analyze and start measuring these. Only then you can take it to the next level. Having understood or having measured and monitored these data, then you can probably change your course as per the inferences that you will draw of analyzing this data. So far so good. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now specifically coming to our organization, Mayuraditya Resort. Mayuraditya Resort was set in the year 2009, and today we are in the 11th year of operation. And it's a 3-star certified property. When it opened, it was one of its there. Today there are a lot of hotels. And among the various services that we have, we provide accommodation, we provide food and beverage, we do banqueting, we have recreation in terms of the spa, the pool, and outdoor catering. So we have a composite array of products and services that we are offering. For these areas, what is it that we are trying to do as part of our data or controls that we execute? It is broadly classified into these areas. We are trying to control our people, processes, quality, quantity, and the cost to company that we will hit upon on various parameters. Being managers in the future, we will not be able to have a control on anything and everything. You cannot do everything yourself. Just pick and choose what you think is most critical and try to keep your thumb on that. Don't try to control everything in the process. See what happens at times. Even I find myself in situations where I could delegate a work to somebody, but then I feel usko bol dega to bahut time lagega, main hi kar deta hu. See, this main hi kar deta hu, what happens is it will be good, but down the line that guy is not learning and you are burdening yourself with that process or that work. So it's better to delegate. May make a mistake once or twice, but eventually they will fall in line, and you will have time to look at the data or look at the outcome and see that you are on course. So we control people and processes. So every organization, we have so many processes in the hotel, be it the housekeeping function, be it the production function, be it the service function. So there are different processes. Every little thing is important. There is nothing which in the hospitality industry which you can say is not important. Very vital. People make up the hospitality trade. So the way you treat your people, they will treat your guest. Similarly, processes. if the process is not monitored or not controlled, no matter how big or small it is, eventually it will have effect on the final outcome. Quality, everybody talks about quality, but then you have to quantify quality. What according to you is quality? So this varies from, I'm sure, organization to organization. Everybody has a different scale to monitor quality. For some, it may be the quality with regard to, if you are looking at food or something, then it will be regard to food, taste, flavor, and all. But probably for somebody else, it may mean something else, the overall quality of service that you have got because of the ambience, because of the place. So this also has to be quantified. Quantity, of course, has, I don't have to say much, because quantity in the physical form can and be monitored very easily. And costs. So the organization will be faced with so many costs. There are certain costs. I will give you an example as we go forward. See, certain things are readily available on the paper. You are able to see a P&L, you are able to see the debtors, creditors, and all. But there are so many other underlying aspects which you will have to look into. I'll give you one example. We buy vegetables. So there is a annual rate contract with the vegetable. And this guy is going to give me, let us say, at 16 rupees a kilo throughout the year. Now, for some period of time, he has added the transport cost. Now, what will happen is that voucher will go into as cost of travel. We will not know, but actually it has added to the cost of procurement of the product. So these things are very critical. You think you're still buying at 16, but you would have ended up buying it at 20. So, these things are very important. Now, when I say measure, and I spoke about the heads, and what is it that we are trying to measure? These are the things that we do: people, plant, machinery. We are also trying to control and measure the feedbacks and the reviews that we get. Process, I think I spoke about all this cost of ingredient and balances and all. Today, with the online travel agents coming in and playing a major role, we call them OTAs. Your TripAdvisor, Booking.com, most of the businesses are now driven by them. They are your reservation managers. So they themselves have created a kind of a dashboard which is available to us. Today I can just log in and find out how much business I got from Booking.com, who were the people, what was the rate that they paid me, what time they came, what kind of room they took, what kind of the service they took. So the IT system or these things have enabled businesses to get more data, more insight, and customize their products and services. Similarly, the online food delivery platforms, Zomato and all. Today I know what time I'm getting orders. I have noticed that we usually get orders from something like 3 p.m. in the afternoon to around 9:30 p.m. in the evening. And so what that has helped me do is I have been able to customize and get my kitchen staff rescheduled to come at those times. Instead of getting everybody at 10 in the morning, now I am able to reschedule. So see, these things, reviews, feedbacks, these processes which are there, these are the things that will come out. And this is what these are improvements, or these are time savers. So these things you have to monitor. Now, you take an example of plant and machinery, as I have another example coming up. How long has it been that I have had a downtime of maybe a lift or air conditioning unit or something like that. So these are the various things, every organization will have this. So you have to set these up based on the industry that you are in. What is GRII? I mean is goods receipt and goods issue. This is one very critical thing across platforms, across industries. This is there, this is monitored. And basically why this is vital is, what I am trying to achieve here is, let us say I purchase material worth 10 lakhs in a month, and I don't time it correctly. And at the end of the month, I'm still, holding 10 lakhs of material. See, when my consumption or my issue from the store is going to be, um, uh, let us say 6 lakhs or 7 lakhs a month, what sense does it make that I have that kind of money in store blocked? So this data is going to help me plan my purchases and ensure that I'm able to keep my costs low. Here it is. I'll show you an example. It is a kitchen order ticket, and what it means, what it does, we will look. People are very vital, as I said. I can give you one example. About 10 years ago, the world the entire travel trade faced a major recession because of the trade and economic downtrend in the European markets and EU and all that happening. There's actually a case study. I think you will get it in your library. And it was noticed very typically that Marriott, I think, yes, it was the Marriott chain, which had a steady flow. They never reported a downtrend in occupancy levels. So it turned out that people tried to understand why is it that this particular hotel chain has not reported it had reported a downtrend, but not as much as. So let us say if people had reported 30% downtrend, these guys had reported about 20% or so, but not much. So it was, when they went back and did a check and balance to find out. So what this hotel had done was it had told each and everybody in the organization, be it the general manager or be it the bell desk boy or the frontline staff, as we call them, each of them was given a limit of $300 to be spent, no question asked. So what it means is they had told those people that if a guest needs something, or if you think that there is something you can make a difference and enhance the experience of that guest, you are at liberty to spend 300 rupees, and we will not ask you what you did, where you did, and how you spent. What it transformed, or what it did, was it put a huge responsibility and a sense of belonging to each and every employee, that they could do something for their guest, and each one tried to do his best. And that is why that particular organization didn't report any downtrend in such crisis. So people are very vital, and as in any organization, each one of them, you have to set their case. You have to ensure that their role and responsibilities are set, monitored, evaluated, and customized or changed as and when it is required. In today's world, in fact, there is very recently, I have been told that there is a new kind of methodology which people are adopting. It is called DMIT. It's a kind of a test. I'll recollect the full form. It's basically a psychoanalytical test. Basically it's trying to put your skills against your aptitude, attitudes, and various things. It just gives you an insight. It's not just trying to prove that you won an upship or something like that. It is just that each one of us have a different skill set, and we are able to do better in certain environments. So many organizations are trying to adopt such things and see that they give a level playing field to their people. Even now, in these pandemic times, you have noticed work from home has become the norm. Many organizations have realized that work can happen from home. So they are passing on. IT companies are saving huge, big time money in rents, in electricity bills. One company the other day, a friend of mine was sharing that one office where he works, they have cut 100 Innovas, which were used to pick up and drop people. Imagine what kind of saving that organization is doing. There are organizations which have sent a 10,000 rupee voucher to each of their employees and saying, you buy yourself a new table, a new chair, and sit at home and work. So see how this data which is coming out and how it is being used for people, and how by using it on your resources or manpower, you are able to get better results. So this is why people are important, and you need to time and again look at what they are doing, how they are performing, what improvements you've seen, and see, everybody needs an opportunity. If it is not given, then they will stagnate. They will ensure that the organization also stagnates, and eventually we will go down. So this is very important. Teamwork, energy, willingness, all these are good adjectives to see and write and present. But they're also very important. One, what you call scale, if you ask me, when I am trying to look at or recruit frontline staff in my service, so what I do is, I just go out and stand and ask the people to send him in. Just the way the boy walks in and he is able to converse with me, no matter what language or what he says, he has to have a bounce in him. Somebody walking lethargically with shaking his, with drooping shoulders, and just trying to cut a not a sorry figure, but a pale figure will not help. You need somebody who can get up, run. So that bounce is required. So hiring the right people is very important. It may not always be the qualification, but it also, for an industry like us, we always need skills. Even today, if you had to walk into maybe the best of the hotels, you will find that there will be a set of people who are not qualified, but the kind of skills that they have are enormous. They would probably do much better than those who have come from a very highly qualified backgrounds and knowledge about that industry. So that is what I was trying to say by putting the last line, which says serving versus processing. I'm sure you all have been to a hotel and a coffee shop and interacted with the people there. And I'm sure you would have noticed that you will always find a set of people who are smiling. You just look at them, that fellow will come running to you. And at the same time, you would have also seen people who are just there, they come, dump the food or the coffee on your table and go away. See, this is the difference between serving and processing. Nobody in the hospitality trade wants it to be industrialized, standard, just come, turn few screws and bolts and nuts and get going. No, each person is different. Each person's need is different, and it has to be catered. Customization is now the key, and it will have to be done. You take, for that matter, not only hospitality trade, you take the retail chain. Customization is happening. Why is it that Reliance has structured its shops and has a delivery point, has a team of people who are able to pick specific orders and take it to your doorsteps in the neighborhood? What is this? This is customization. This is one end, serving, where they are able to ensure that they have anchored that particular customer to themselves. So you understand why people are important. So people. Next, we speak about the process. In the hotel industry, there are n number of processes which are happening in the various departments. We have, I'm sure most of you know, the front desk is the one which looks after the accommodation area. Their back end is basically the housekeeping department. You have the service, which is in the restaurant or in the bar. that is the front end. Their back end would be the food production department. For all of them, the store or the maintenance are the back end support services which are required, without which they will not function. So each one of them will have a process. Some of the examples that I can share with you is, the room is a product for us. How fast am I currently? It's very sad to say the hotel industry is not doing well since the last couple of years because of various reasons. But at times, how fast a room is returned for the next sale is very vital. There are few properties in Hubli, Dharwad. You will be surprised if I tell you. Their occupancy is about per day is about close to about 120, 130%. So you'll be surprised as to how is it that they are able to do so much of occupancy, whereas at the other end, people like large hotels like us and all, if we are able to even do a decent 40-50%, it's okay. I mean, it's good for us. Of course, value is one thing, the rate per room may be different, but what I'm bringing you to is, for such properties, how fast somebody is able to turn a room around or make it available for the next sale is very vital. If that guy is going to take 3 hours, 4 hours, then it is meaningless. But if he's able to ensure that they have a process where 2-3 people get into the room, set it up and make it ready, and they are able to hand it over in 25 minutes or 15 minutes or 30 minutes and ensure that there is no quality drop, this is important. This process, how it is going to be done, who is going to do it, what time is going to go in, this is the process. This is the process that has to be set, tried, corrected, reused, and perfected. So that is the example that I could speak on process. Now, we are speaking about costs in the first this thing. So banqueting is one of Mayur Aditya's major revenue earning wing, you can call. Banqueting means it would cover conferencing, it would cover parties, it would cover outdoor catering, and anything that is connected with food and beverage and service. So no sooner we have this order coming in, so everything has to start going around and working around. So the key element here is number of people who are going to be attending the event, and the possibility of it going up or dropping is something which will have to be calculated, and ensure that you draw only so much of material which is required, neither more nor less. So this parameter or this process has to be controlled. So the chef is going to decide what material he needs. So he's going to tell the store when he needs, how much he needs. The store is going to see where it is going to buy, what price it is going to buy, when it is going to come. See, at many a times, we have ensured that when the banquet starts and guests start arriving, it is that time that we call for the ice cream. We don't call for the ice cream prior to that. The company fellow will deliver it when it starts. So these things are very vital. So this is controlled. So I don't have to store. I don't have a store cost. I am going to store it in the ice box that is going to give me and return it no sooner the event gets over in the next 3 to 4 hours. So these thing is very important. Now, machine downtime. We spoke about, I gave you an example of an air conditioning or a lift. So as a hotel, everything is important for us. In Mayur Aditya, for everything, we have a backup. Or for that matter, any hotel will have. It's not that we have 2 generators, we have 2 EPPX, we have 2 lifts, we have 2 bore wells, we have 2 servers. I mean, the idea is to ensure that there is no downtime. We have, for the hot water, because Dharwad experiences different weathers. Our hot water is, we have 4 options to get hot water in the hotel. Now, you will wonder why so much. It is just to ensure that if one fails, the other one is always available. So these things are very important. And in spite of the fact that we have AMCs, we have people coming in service to do but still there will be a machine downtime. So if there is a machine downtime, what happens? How are we able to replace it? So these things are very vital for the hospitality trade that we are in. Then we have another example of pickup to service time. What this means is this is vital to the food production and service area. Let's say you place an order, you go to a restaurant, you place an order for maybe a sandwich, and the order goes from the order taker to the kitchen, and the kitchen fellow picks it, gets it ready quickly and puts it on the pickup table. And then your service guy has disappeared something, or he's busy doing some other orders and all, and your sandwich arrives late. If it arrives late, it is cold, you don't like it, there is a delay. So these things, this lead time, this is very important. So in the hotel, what we have done is we have set up a time chart which says that the service guy has to take so much time to serve water, so much time to pick up, so much time to run between stations, so much time to do clearances or leftover plates or the clearances from the table. So what happens is these things put pressure or put a check on the entire operation happening. Imagine you're sitting in a restaurant and just next to you there is a side station and they have piled up huge amount of soiled plates and all. You will not, it will be a turn off. So these things are very important. Similarly, when you look at the indent to issues in large organizations, in ITC, when I was working at Jaipur, the store department was so large and there are so many departments, and the control was so beautiful that the front desk, or for that matter the housekeeping, would not be allowed to place order for let us say drinking water or fruits, because they would have blocked it internally into a mechanism. Everything was online. It was you had to put an indent on the system. It would travel to your head of department, it will go to that particular store department, and it will get issued to you. So the check that they had, a control mechanism that they had, was each department was assigned what product it could draw, what product it could not draw. So this process was also controlled so that there is no error. And there is always for a small organization like us, there is always going to be challenge on indent to issue. What happens is, let us say my kitchen says I want 100 kilos of X item, and store will invariably, for some reason the finance would have told him or something like that, will end up buying 80 kilos. So this guy will always be at lockerheads with him. Now he has to now manage and see that he makes up for the deficit of the 20 kilos. So these things are what is being controlled or managed. These are the processes. See, no matter what, whatever I say, I give you examples, it will have very little impact on you today, because I would like, as I will retaliate, that you will need to see this in person, feel this, and understand, no matter whether it is Mayur Aditya or any other hotel or any other organization, but go through this, because no matter what industry you work in the future, there is always learning. So you will learn something from this experience. So you come and see it, understand it, then probably you will get a better insight into what I'm saying. One very important thing to anybody or any organization is communication within the organization or beyond the purview of the or outside the organization. You have to keep it very simple, keep it efficient, keep it in writing. My experience over all this period of time is that never have a verbal communication and take things for granted. I'll give you one example. We are on an annual rate contract with Tata Motors, with many such companies. What happens is, invariably at around 5:36 in the evening, when people would be going back home, one of the admin team person will call me and tell me that Hemal ji, aaj 5-6 log khana khane aayenge, आप bill to company कर दीजिए. What it basically means is that I have to give them food and the bill has to be signed and it has to be sent to company. If I had to say yes and disconnect the call and do the service and send the bill, take it from me, that bill would never get paid, because they are very strong with their communication. They want anything and everything backed up with a written communication or an authorization. So initially once or twice I found it difficult. Then I realized that no sooner I got a call, what I used to do is, no sooner I disconnected the call, I used to pick up an email and write a mail to him. That, sir, it was very nice speaking to you, and I welcome your top management for dinner today. This bill for these 8 people, I'll send it to you in the morning. Once this thing is done, I'll take care. I have blocked this table. I did this, I did that. I'll write 2-3 lines and say thank you and send it across. Now, the following day, I used to print this email, attach it to the bill and send it. Never the bill has come back. It has been paid much before time. So you understand why a written communication is important. Always have a written communication. I'm sure you would have done a lot of exercises in your organization, I mean, in your business school on communication. And you know how effective it is, how effective is verbal and how effective is non-verbal or written communication. So I don't think I have to push on that. For an organization, random checks and balances is very vital. Detective control is very important. In fact, large organizations have basically something called not the audit team. Audit may sound very finance related, but there is something called an F&B controller in most of the hotels. What responsibility the F&B controller has, he mines the data so much that he is able to pinpoint and check every bill and ensure that what was ordered has been served, what is served is billed, what is billed is gone into the recovery system. So he checks, he starts from the store and ends it in the finance. So even at our end, for example, at the end of the month, we do a bar audit, and you will be surprised, or you will find it very funny, but all the liquor bottles which are kept in the bar is measured to the last peg. We try to write down how much is there, what was the opening stock, what was issued, what was sold, what is the balance, and what is the difference between what we are having. And the rule is very simple. Each and everybody in the F&B service, from the manager to the steward, is told that no more than a peg, either less or more, will be tolerated. If it is more, it is taken off from the system. If it is less, I simply bill it and debit it to the department. There is no other way to control this. Because I do this, they are very careful. They do their tally every day in the night, or every day early morning when they come at 11 o'clock, they tally it and put it and set it right. So checking is very vital. That is where the revenue is. Somebody, there is a saying, no, that you take care of pennies, pounds will take care of themselves. It is like that. So you have to control it there. So kitchen order ticket, or what we refer it as KOT, is basically a food request. So it goes from the service to the kitchen, and later it goes to the cashier and bills it. Now, the interesting thing is that what happens, let us say you ordered for 2 sandwiches and 2 sandwiches got picked up and served and got billed. What also I have to see is, have they billed? You have ordered probably chicken sandwich and our guys would have ended up billing it as a veg sandwich. So, that will not work. So that will end up, we'll try to find out whether it is a cashier's mistake or the order taker's mistake, and it is simply debited to his account. Because otherwise we will never, be able to keep a check on this. And hotel industry has very smart people working. I said, no, skill-based fellows. So those who are highly skilled, a set of them will also be super smart or over smart and all. And we do come across many a times, and it happens in most organizations. what we have detected, even the room bills, every day there is a person who checks the room bills. No sooner a guest leaves, all the room bills at checkout go to this particular person in the finance, and he sits and checks his registration card. Who is the guest? When did he come? When did he get? Who booked? What was his discount structure? How he had to pay? Everything he checks. And at times we realize that, there will be a guest who is just a walk-in customer, and our front desk guy would have put him under SDM guest and given him 10% discount, whereas he's not supposed to get a discount. And we would have collected less money, and that discount money would have gone to the this thing. So these things, or these checks, are very important. Similarly, we do a random check of our cash desk. What we do is, sometimes I call my finance guy and I tell him to come to my office, and I take him. I call two people and take one person to the F&B service guy and one to the front desk, and I just take the keys from them and ask them to do an audit and count the money, do a check, and find out if there is a variance. And if there is nothing much, there is a voucher kept there, we will sign it and say this is the shortfall, and whoever is there has to sign it, and it is debited to his account. See, these strict, stringent measures are required. Otherwise, if you don't do these surprise checks and audits, you will not be able to know where things are going wrong. And it has to be random. It cannot be predictable. So this is very vital. So in the area or the course of work that you will be having, you have to understand what is it that there is which is the area which is a weak point, or where is a possibility of error happening. Think from the perspective of the person who's running it or managing it, and you set a control there. You try to go and check there. So this is very important. So far, so good. I hope I'm not boring you.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Yeah, okay. Fine. So now we spoke about people, processes, what we do, what we measure, and all. Now, how is it done? What happens? What exactly happens in an organization? How we are able to do so much, because it is spread laterally so much. That's such a big bandwidth of processes and things to be done. So there is today a lot of facility management applications available, and most of the data is available there, and we are able to churn out and get. So point of sale systems or property management systems are nothing but software or an application which is put in places, and it captures data at a point of sale or at a point of revenue generation and clocks it or captures it, and we are able to then work or take out prints and work. As I said earlier when in my opening remarks, that more the data you have, the more you churn it, the more insight you get. But at the same time, it can be confusing, it can be annoying also. So you need to just be very selective in what you are trying to achieve, what is your goal, and just pick that data and analyze it. So property management system is helping me control my room sale, my housekeeping function, my store function, my billing function, my kitchen ordering function, my bar function. All this is controlled, and minor operating departments we have, like the swimming pool, the spa, the gym. So although for in-house guests it is free, but an outsider, when he comes and uses the pool or he comes and uses the spa, so those are minor operating departments. So because we have only so many, if you go to large cities, so for example, if you had to go to Jaipur, or if you had to go to Delhi, most large hotels, you will see that they have a shopping area, or they are called minor operating departments. They'll have a bookstore, they'll have a gift shop. So these revenues are generated there also. So those revenues are also clocked. Coming to energy management system. Today, cost of energy is very high, whether be it electricity, fuel, anything for that matter. So controlling this is very important. The hotel that I worked in Jaipur was called Rajputana Palace Sheraton. It's a very nice property. You can look for it online. One, please. Sorry. So what this hotel did was, when it started selling, it was not a tower, but it was just a 3-floor hotel, but spread over a very large area, and they had 4 blocks. And they were so smart that when they started allotting rooms, they would allot A, B, C, and D, and so that the rooms got occupied. In the evening at around 5 o'clock or so, they used to ensure that, if the occupancy is low, let us say the D block, nobody is staying, they would have a central control mechanism in the maintenance department, and it would switch off electricity. Not a single bulb would be operational there, not a single bulb. The entry exit to that block would be blocked, water would be blocked, air conditioning would be blocked, heating would be blocked. Everything means it is dead. That block, they used to keep it dead. The reason is that they didn't want even a half a kilowatt of power being wasted there. And for every area, they had put an energy meter, and that is how they were able to control it. Same thing was with water. There were pumps in various areas to pump water, and they could be controlled from the central maintenance room. In fact, I will retaliate that you have to see this to believe it. The maintenance department of Rajputana was spread over 2,500 square feet. That was the area that just the maintenance office took. So imagine the kind of controls they had. This is very vital. See, the hotel looks very nice and rosy from the outside, but it is great deal of hard work and back end which is there. Access controls, all of you are aware now. Earlier days, it was very novel and new that people had these magnetic cards to go in and go out. In fact, today hotels have become even more smarter. The access card which is given to the customer or the guest will not only open his door key, but will facilitate. In fact, in one of the hotels in Pune, you cannot get out of the lift if you're not supposed to get out. That access card will prevent that. It will not open only. It will open only on that floor. So that much of control. See, by doing that, what they have achieved is probably their security cost they must have cut. They don't need the people to manually monitor it. So access control, entry, exit. See, technology is driving this, and hospitality is one industry which will absorb technology much faster and absorb it much quicker than any other industry. So this is something which is available. Then call management system, it's not very important today. But way back then, there used to be a system where people, whenever they made a telephone call, it used to get picked up and put across into their room folio. Today, this is not important because the mobile telephone market has just done away with. Not many hotels have a intercom or this thing. So this is not very important today, but yes, there does exist a system like this. So we spoke about channel managers. You can log into any of these booking.com or TripAdvisor and all. And these online travel agents have really taken the hospitality trade to a next level. Today, when I open my dashboard, what data it shows. It tells me what is the occupancy happening in Hubli. What category of, it will not name the hotel, but it will certainly say that 3-star hotels are doing this, 2-star are doing this, budget hotels are doing this. Hotels on Gokul Road are doing this. Hotels on Station Road are doing this. This is the average price which is happening. All this data is, I have to see, and then I have to decide what price am I going to offer today. So pricing has become like that. So because they have so much of data, they are able to push and tell me that this is what is happening. And they will give me so much of data. At times it is really annoying. They'll say, okay, last month you got only 11 people coming and you gave this rate. Had you given this, you would have got that. So it is really, in a way it is good, but at the same time, you need to really keep your finger on the pulse and just take what is required and go ahead. So dashboards or reservation management systems or these, so, this entire process is outsourced. Earlier, there used to be a reservation manager, a sales team and all. Today, all this is available online. So hotels don't, it is a big boon to budget hotel chains and all that, standalone hotel properties, who can really rely on these things and manage their inventories. Then comes the new age, what you call social media. And today it is everywhere. I am not a very social media savvy person, except that sir will know that I'm on LinkedIn, but otherwise I don't use WhatsApp and I don't use Facebook and probably Insta or Twitter or all those things. Yes, I'll reply to an email, but these things have become very vital. And there are agencies who are managing this for properties, and everybody wants to be seen there. It is also driving business. It is also driving opinions. The pandemic has, brought a new this thing. In fact, very recently I saw on LinkedIn that ITC hotels in Chennai, Mumbai, Bangalore, Calcutta, Delhi, most places have started offering room for COVID care at 5,000 rupees. It includes food, it includes everything end to end. So, what has brought about this? This has come because of various insight they started getting, and a requirement which came up because of this eventuality. And social media was one key element which was driving this. So everybody thought by keeping a room, and even today when my Mayuraditya is closed, I still have about 15 to 20 people in the hotel working, because maintenance has to be done, housekeeping has to be done, it has to be kept up and running for sale. So these things drive, this is what drives this. So this is very vital, and this is how it is done. Food delivery, I think we did speak earlier, but yes, they are also giving me a lot of insight as to what is my top selling item, at what price I'm selling, who's buying, whether I'm getting more orders from Gandhinagar or I'm getting more orders from Vidyagiri, who's buying what, at what price. So these things, are all IT enabled and are all available easily today. And we are using this to see that our revenue goes up. We are able to better manage our people and our processes. Now I have few, what you call formats, or you can say, to share with you. See, this is the customer feedback. One of the data I'm trying to show you how we collect. Now, in fact, this is in a physical form. Now, we also have it in a digital form. So what happens is, those of the guests who are able to give us their mobile numbers, we are able to push their bill also onto their phone. We don't have to print the bill. So when we push the bill to their mobile phone, they are able to see, and if they are satisfactory, they pay. And no sooner they do that, at the bottom of that bill will appear a feedback form, and yes, to just tick few 3, 4, 5 clicks, and that's it done. We are able to get our data, and we are able to compile it at the end of the month. This form, what is critical for us is, although they have ticked the quality of food or this thing, we are also trying to see T09 is the table. P is how many people were there, who was the captain, and who are the people who have served. So end of the month, I'm going to tally as to who were the people who got, or who did how many tables, how many people, what was their turnaround, how much they got good, how much they got average. So this data is vital for me. So imagine if I had to do this manually, and if I had to do this online, how much difference it would make. So this is one of the data that we are capturing. This is the order ticket. This is basically in now also available in electronic format, but currently we trust the manual option because the traceability becomes easy. This kitchen order ticket is basically made in 3 copies. One goes to the billing table, one goes to the pickup boy, one goes to the kitchen, and one is with the service guy. So he knows, everybody knows what is to be done. Okay, this is something very important. Sorry. Just excuse me. I think I'm facing some error. Just give me 2 minutes. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I faced some challenge. So you're able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Apologies for the break. So I was talking about communication, and this is one of the vital documents that you can say that we need or use as a communication, not only with the external parties, but also internally. This is called a banquet function contract. All organizations or all hotels would have banqueting happening. And if you notice, on the left-hand side, you will notice who's the person, what is he, where is he, what is the date of his event and all happening. On the right-hand side, you will see that we have very specifically specified when is the event, how many people are guaranteed, how many are expected, because these small little things are very vital. When it will start, when it will get over, how much is the cost, where is it going to be held, what is it that they want, even the name of what is to be written is very important. What time you're going to start, where, how. So all the 5 W's and 1 H are put into this particular format. Very, very specific, very, very detailed. And not only is this printed, and so if you see, the food menu is on the right hand side. On the left hand side, you will see that each department is told, that engineering is told that if there is rain, you have to do this setup, you have to play music. The housekeeping is told that get a pest control done, and on so and so day do this. So each and everything, what time it is going to be picked up, what time is it going to be served. So that is also specified. Now, the important thing here is, if you see, there is an F&B manager and the guest signature which is appearing. This is for us and the guest to understand each other, and that he agrees to the above menu, he agrees to the above rate. That is the contract that I have with him. But at the same time, at the bottom, you will notice that it is going to each of the department will sign it, receive it. The job of the F&B service is to see that each one of them gets it. He obtains a signature and brings it back. Because I don't want somebody in my organization to sit up and say, I was not aware that this event is happening here. I was not aware that it is for 200. I don't want any gaps. And another thing that I do is when there is a very important event with important dignitaries coming, or there is, which requires people like us to get involved, then not only do we print this, but once it is shared, we call for a stand-up meeting, and each one of the head of departments or the key person who's going to be involved in this operation has this sheet in his hand, and we discuss this, and I try to understand from his end what is his role and responsibility. So I'm making sure that the communication is clear, he is understood, he is in line with me, we are all of us on the same page. So this is very vital. Communication is very vital, and this is one of the important formats. Last year, I think sir will remember, we didn't have this format. It was very blurred. So this time I probably corrected it. So, okay, we move from there to, this is the store report. You can see you are all managers. I don't think I have to explain this to you. Department wise, we're just trying to see what is our opening balance, how much did we buy, how much did we issue, what is the balance. Here we are trying to, what I'm trying to achieve here, or what I'm trying to control here is, I want to keep my closing stock as minimum as possible so that the cost to my company is less. This is my derivative from this. Everybody will have a different derivative, but my derivative is I'm trying to keep it as low as possible. So, my purchase, if you see, is 9,11,000 and my issue is 10 lakh. So more or less it is, it should not be over a certain threshold limit, so that is where I'm interested. I want to use up the material that is with me. So this is again another report which is trying to show how much I'm holding. Here, the key element that I am trying to control would be the rate. What happens is every month, certain products which are not under the annual rate contract will keep varying. So we are wanting to arrive at what is the final rate or a closing rate, because on that, my entire cost of the month will be arrived. What is my food cost? For that, we will arrive at. So how much was my opening stock? At what price did I buy? At what price did I issue? And at what price am I closing? This is my derivative of this report. This is an MIS report which is generated from my point of sale, which we were speaking. So this is giving me a snapshot of, how much is my food division revenue, how much is my room division, liquor sale, what is the percentage, how did it come, and what are the second block speaks about the expenses. If you see, I'm going to be sharing this PPT with sir. So those of you who are interested to again go through this and probably have questions, please do so, and you can always connect with me. My number is with sir, and I'll be very happy to throw some light or insight post this session if you have any questions. So I think this is self-explanatory. This is another, as I told you, the discount thing. We are trying to understand where the discount is going, whom it is given, why it is given. So you will notice this is one report that is very important for me, is my outstanding report. What happens is, any organization, especially the hospitality trade, there are a lot of, as I said, Tata Motors is one of my clients. This is something which is given to me every month, and I have to sit and ensure that I'm able to collect my bills, because giving credit is a good thing. Not getting it on time is absolutely a very bad thing for our trade. So we just try to monitor it company wise, bill wise. And if you notice at the end of the column, there is a days. So almost for 300 days, if this my bill is pending, is as good as that I don't collect it. So this is the aging report that is very important for us. This is just an example, but we do this for everything and every company. All hotel industries will have something called a spring cleaning. In our native language, we call it Diwali cleaning. So, we clean up our houses during Diwali. We just pick everything, keep it out, wash it, clean it, swab it, and put it back. This is something which is the next 2-3 reports are linked with each other. What we call it the son, father, grandfather report, we call it in our what you call internal dictum. So every room boy who gets into the room, so as I said, the skills are important, but he maybe is educated or not. His job, we have listed everything. His job is to write the room number and tick all these things that he has done this, that this is available there. And he has to write a date, he has to sign and get it for his supervisor. Look at the detailed list which is there. This keeps changing. So these are all the things that he has to ensure before he gets out of the room and make sure that this is available. This is the depth with which each one and everything is listed. Next, having done that, his supervisor is going to collect all those reports and tick here that he has collected this and is found it to be okay, that the room was occupied and not. This is a very important thing for, in spite of the fact that IT enabled systems are there, still hotels run a manual check. What they do is they get the housekeeping guys to fill up a manual report and tell us which are the rooms occupied. See, no matter whether it is big or small, the room is vacant, housekeeping will say it is occupied. So we are very happy to look at such things because we know there is an error and we know that there is something going wrong, and we are able to find the error. And this is detective control, you say, no? So that is this. This is one of those formats for which we use this. Ensure that all areas are cleaned and are available in the way it is available as per the checklist. So this is another report. If you notice on the top right hand corner, there is a narrative as to what he has to fill. What is the status of the room as per the housekeeper's report. This comes to the general manager. It does not go anywhere. And the general manager will call for a report from the front office and physically go through this and ensure that everything is in order. An interesting thing is all hotels have something called out of order rooms or rooms under maintenance, which is very important for us to arrive at understanding the occupancy of the hotel, be it on a day basis, month basis, or on a yearly basis. So this is that report. What I'm trying to do here is in the entire month, the front office would want to show that, okay, we did 37% occupancy. The maintenance will want to say that I had only 2% downtime, or I had 5 rooms. Housekeeping will say 5 rooms out of order because of paint or pest control or anything. But what I would be probably interested is on a particular day or in a particular month, how many sellable rooms I had and how much did I sell? What is my percentage? So probably my take on this. So as I said earlier, a report will have different meanings to different people. So as your role or your responsibility, you should know what is important for you. In one of the columns, the last 2 columns, you'll see NC is non-chargeable rooms, and the other one is management block rooms. So I am able to go back to my management and tell them, see that out in the month, 48 rooms were used by you. I don't know what you've done, but you have used it. For me, it is occupancy. Non-chargeables are those rooms whom we give away free rooms. Now, so this is also, these are both under the top management's prerogative. So, this data is vital for me. Another very important thing from the store department, the practice, that is there. I have specification for each and everything that I buy. So I have specified what kinds of eggs I'm going to buy, what kind of meat am I going to buy, and it has to meet this criteria. Every year when a annual rate contract is signed, this is given to the, for this I'll have for vegetable, I'll have for fruits, I'll have for everything. This is a maintenance. I'm going through a little fast because I haven't told you have another class coming up. So I just quickly, so this is a maintenance checklist, so yeah, it is his job and to ensure that this is filled up, because for me, what is important is I am able to retrieve this in the future and understand when a maintenance was done, whether it was done on time, whether it was in line with the SOP which was there. Because if a maintenance is not done, there is going to be a breakdown. I don't want a breakdown. I want a PM to happen, a preventive maintenance to happen. So this is the checklist for that. This is one from the HR perspective. It's a skill matrix. What we are trying to do here is each of the employee that I have, you can see on the x-axis his name, and we have the different kitchens that are working in my hotel, be it the Indian, the Chinese, or the continent. So we are just trying to understand what are the skills that person has. Does he have the cooking skills, or does he have the skills to do a pre-prep? Mise en place is called a pre-prep. So this is every 3 months or 6 months, we take this and we try to ascertain what kind of skill sets we are available, because people leave and what we don't have, so we can fill up the gap. So this is for the service. Now you notice on the left hand side all the kinds of jobs that that person has to do, and does he have, and the name of the people are written on the top. So we are just trying to ascertain how much skill sets we have in each of these areas, which will help us do duty allocation, which will help us plan banqueting, which will tell us where are the gap, where are the trainings to be done. Every day when the hotel closes, all hotels will generate a night audit report. It tells the hotel or the top management what has happened yesterday. What did you do? What did you achieve? What was your cost? Where did you incur that cost? How much was it? Was it budgeted? So this happens on a day basis, on a month basis, and on a year basis for different heads that have been specified. Same report. It also tells you your statutory payouts. So how much you have to pay on what head. So the finance can plan and set aside that kind of money to be paid in the following month against the taxes that we would have incurred. The last report tells you the money that you generated yesterday, how did it come, whether it came in cash or credit, and whether it was settled over this thing, and this summary. So look, the reason that I'm showing you this is that the kind of data that I'm able to get. But again, I will repeat, I am not, probably I'll be interested in certain area, not everything. This data goes to so many people for so many different things. So I'll quickly speak about the case of moving from luxury or from high value to low value. This thing, Mayuraditya Resort for the last 3 years has got the tender for catering the Indira canteens in the cities of Hubli, Dharwad. Currently, we are operating 9 canteens, and I think most of you know that we sell breakfast at 5 rupees and lunch and dinner at 10 rupees. So what is my role and responsibility is to cook, to transport, serve, and upkeep the place. The infrastructure is created by the government. So what I've done is, since it's a very controlled this thing, and it is very tight because the cost is so less, so I cannot ensure, I cannot make mistake. So for Monday, I specified each of the quantity that is to be given for making that item. The item is listed on the left hand side and the quantity is here. So only this much item will be given. The cooking Telvo has to ensure that there is no spillage, spoilage, or whatever, and has to cook in this. If you notice the data that is available, each and everything is specified, including salt. And if you notice at the bottom, that is planned for 500 meals. So what is the cost and cost per meal that I'm achieving? So this is, I may be probably interested in this 25 rupees zeros. This may not be the exact price. I'm just giving an example. But this data for store will have a different meaning. For him, it was quantity. And for the finance, it would be rate. For me, it is this cost. So see, from Monday to Sunday, I have trying to put the menu, and I'm trying to arrive at a average cost, so that I know that I'm well within my profit margin, or well within my, because this is high volume, less margin business. So this is some data that I am trying to control. This is you can say both a budget, what you call a plan, and also a monitoring sheet for us. So what are the various areas as to per day and per month I have arrived at. So what are my costs at different heads? If you notice, vehicle also we have listed 51 kilometers. It does 3 trips in 2 vehicles. So if I'm able to do it in 1 vehicle, how much am I going to save? So even those things I'm trying to control. And how many meals I do, and what is it going to be per month, and what is going to be my cost per meal, and what are the percentages of various heads. So this, if it fluctuates, believe me, even if there's a 1 rupee difference, there's going to be an astronomical change in this final figures. So that is very vital, very important for me. So this is my manpower budgeting, which I've done in costs. Here I wanted to point out one very specific thing, that although I have shown managers and servers and all, I've shown a reliever. See, there is also going to be a backup plan. So if there is going to be somebody who's missing from the service, I have to fix in or put in a place a person. So that cost also I have taken, and that cost also I have budgeted, not only for per center, but for the month. So this is what I'm trying to say. And the statutory payouts, what is it that is my cost to company? What is it that the person is going to earn? Everything, including the GST, everything we have put here. So this is something which as managers we have to do, and go back and forth every day and check. Performance for the month. Have I made a profit? Have made a loss? If I've made a loss, I have to justify it, why there is a loss, or why it could be prevented. So this is the top MIS. If you see on the left hand side, the WN 1, 2, 3, you see are different worksheets from which these figures are being derived. There is a in detail worksheet 1, 2, 3, 4, which is there, from which all this data is pulled, and this one sheet is printed and sent across to the directors for their understanding and deliberations. So quickly, I will just say that, as managers, you people will need to go through the whole cycle, get hold of reports time and again, and ask yourself, is this what you were looking for? Is this what you want? Is this what is giving you direction? If no, change it. If yes, continue. And if it is to be changed, make meaningful changes. Involve the people and see that it gives you the right kinds of inputs to help you grow. So there is, for any organization, by the book, there will be certain, for example, all hotel industries say that your direct material cost has to be 30%, but probably it may vary. What works for somebody in Chennai may not work for somebody in Dehradun, or something for us in Dharwad may not work for somebody else in Pune. So there may not be a blueprint, but yes, we have to create one, and work on that, and formulate your own what you call checklist and follow it. So as I said earlier, my input and forceful request to you all may be, not only the hotels, try to visit any organization, irrespective of whether it interests you or no, and experience it, learn it. You don't have to always make a trip abroad or go to big cities. Within our twin cities only, there is so much to see and learn, understand how things are happening, how it is being done. Believe me, if you had to even go to a small Darshini or a small neighborhood bakery, there's so much for you to see and learn. And it will give you insight, and believe me, it will help you when you are working in on a job or on an experience or in an organization. So time and again, I keep telling all management school students to do this, and also share. When you share, you are learning. So that's very important. Internships are a very good thing, and uh, try to take it up in this pandemic times. I know it is difficult, but I'm sure these times will be over, and you will be able to pick up, no matter whether it is for 3 months or 6 months. Take it up. That is very, very, very vital. And more than what happens in the classroom, what happens on the shop floor is very important. So I think I've spoken enough. Uh, and if you have any questions, feedback, I hope I have not bored you. Is there any questions? Because I want to show you something else also. So, any questions?
Anybody has any questions? Please raise. We are giving a beautiful account of how is organized working
Yes, doc.
and just put in place. Very excellent case study. One can record.
Sir, I have one doubt. My name is Anirudh.
Rate from Bombay and from no. 1 minute, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Please go ahead.
Sir, my question is, now that you're serving out meals, be it breakfast or lunch in Indira canteens,
Yeah.
at such a low price, just want to check, is it that each and every day all the food is distributed?
Yeah, it's a good question. See, as of today, the government, as of now, because of pandemic, they have ordered 500 meals, and all 500 are being consumed. If whatever is remaining, they are taking it and distributing it at different points. But during the regular course of operations, what we are doing is, there are certain outlets like KMC, New Bus Stand, and all, or New Mini Vidhan Sabha in Dharwad. These have a higher sale point than compared to those in Old Hubli. So we plan and send the meal accordingly. It's I don't have to send 500 because yes, you are right. If I send 500 and if it gets wasted, the food has to be dumped. I cannot reuse the food, so it necessarily gets dumped. So that is where the check mechanism or the planning comes into, that we have to ensure that we sell or send. In spite of doing all the planning, yes, I am left with some food at times. So what I have done is, as a plan B, we have two places, or what you call old age homes or orphanages in Hubli, one in Namnagar and two in Dharwad identified, and we go and deliver food to them so that we don't scrap it. This is what we are trying to do. Yes, but I am left with it.
Great. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any questions? Student side?
Sir,
Yes, please.
this is Annapuneshwari.
Yes, please.
Sir, you said that Gokul Road restaurants and Station Road restaurants, you find the price and then you'll fix your price.
Yes.
How can you get those data, sir? Is there
Yeah.
any technical tool or something?
Yes. So I was, if you remember, if you recollect, I spoke about a dashboard which is available to us from these online travel agents like Booking.com or TripAdvisor, Make My Trip. So what happens exactly is, so Booking.com would be would have a tie-up with let us say about 4, 5, 6 hotels in Hubli and different hotels in Dharwad, and they will say that, okay, there are so many rooms available for sale, and this is the average price at which they are selling. So their data is coming to me from the online travel agents or online booking portals or reservation managers. We call them central reservation systems, which are available, and that data is shared with me. So having taken once I look at that data, I am able to fix my selling price today. So that data is coming to me from the online travel agents.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Any other question?
Any other question? Sir, how many people are attending the session today? Sorry, I didn't check.
66, including you and me.
Okay.
One question.
Yes.
You have designed so nicely all these formats and things, but then how frequently you revisit these formats depending on the learnings that you take, because two things may have missed you also, and you learn from that mistake and say, oh, I have to plug this data point. So what is any fixed frequency that you have, that you change the format or revisit the format and see something is redundant, it is not required, something has to be added, it was missed out, something like that?
Yes. Sir, this is very important. So what happens is, frequency as such, do I look at the frequency? No, I don't look at the frequency. But yes, when does this undergo changes? Let us say I'm going through a report and I have to get certain fact, or I have to present a certain fact, or I'm trying to look at a certain cost. Then what happens is, this comes to light when my, let us say, store is showing me a data and I realize that I don't have the last purchase price, so it has to be included. So at that period of time, that format undergoes a change, and it will now start including the last purchase price. And that way the formats, that way the system gets matured. So that's what I said, time and again, when you keep going and asking and churning the data, the system, the policy, the process, the formats keep getting better and better, better matured for you to get the key data or the vital indicators that are important for you. So although there is no fixed time, but yes, as and when every day you have to keep looking at these formats, understanding and seeing that you are on track. And there will be something which will trigger a change. So this is how it is done, sir. Yes, thank you.
Very true. Very true. Now, one question that always comes is, the moment you have forms and formats and people have to fill it, the human element is always there. Any documentation is perhaps the last priority in anybody's mind. So how do you ensure that the people who are filling, they are genuinely doing it, and is there any check and balance on their behavior?
Very good, sir. So what happens is, let us say the housekeeping boy has filled up a report. It has gone to the supervisor. the supervisor has signed and it has gone to the head of department. So what I do is once in a while walk into that department, pick up his format, pick up the boy, take the supervisor and the head of department and get into that room and physically check one room. If I had checked one room, believe me, sir, that day they would have ended up checking all the 48 rooms. So a random check always helps. And I just have to go and probably look for a cobweb in the washroom or check the expiry date of the milk sachet in the bar count, I mean the mini bar which is in the room. By doing one such small check, all other checks are done by them. So yes, one has to go through that process time and again once in a while and ensure and retaliate to all the people in the system that the management is keeping a check on these formats. So they have to be adequate, they have to be in order. Thank you.
Anyway, you can conclude with whatever slide you have put up.
So no, I just wanted to also, although I spoke about the systems and things, I also wanted to share with our class that we come from the hospitality trade, and although the situation now is very grim, nevertheless, it is a very good industry. You should consider a career in the hospitality trade. It covers a whole set of products and services, be it food, be it ticketing, be it travel, be it event management. So many things are there, so many things. So, and this is one industry which can absorb people from all walks of life, be it finance, be it legal, be it data analytics, be it engineering, food trade. So we are an industry which can give employment to a whole array of people from different walks of life. So this is what I wanted to showcase, and I have a slide, although it is a little old, but just to create little interest among our community friends today. So it is just there that how many arrivals were there in India in 2019 is what I'm trying to showcase, and that it had registered that 3.5% growth then, and all the NRIs who came were about almost 7 million, and international travel, this is where the revenue comes in. This is a very big figure, and so although it has registered a very simple growth of 3%, it is less compared to what India can offer, and what other small countries are doing is much higher, much better than what we do. So there is a lot of scope for us to earn and have new avenues. So at the same time, if you notice, when I'm showing NRI arrival or I'm showing a tourist arrival, just see the national departures, and which is there, it is 2.4. So that many more people are traveling, and within the country, this is very interesting. 25% of the people growth it has registered. So this is a very big thing. So what we are trying to showcase is that locally also Indian guests or Indian travelers are avid travelers, and it is happening. Although we by and large travel for spirituality or for social gatherings, but now with the new generations coming up, people having disposable incomes, more and more travel is expected. And believe me, once this pandemic is over, there is going to be a boom in the travel industry. This much I can tell you out of my experience. Nevertheless, the earning is almost 2 lakh crores, you can see. That is about 8.6 annual growth we have registered. And in US dollars also, because world over, the travel industry is monitored in terms of US dollars. So that is what it is. And you can see the international tourist arrivals. It has grown, and how much growth it has shown. There is an important thing that I underlined here. So prior to the pandemic, you will notice that 1 in 4 jobs were created in the world were in the travel industry, be it direct or indirect. So we are a very large industry. We are impacting lives. So you should look at this industry as well. It can offer a lot. So in fact, as I said earlier, today the figure is very grim, that we have suffered a huge loss because of the pandemic, and you will notice that it is $4.5 trillion US, which is huge, and GDP is hit almost 50%, and there is going to be further decline this year. And having said so, I am still very confident. Still, I can reassure you that as and when this gets over, next year when things open, there is going to be a big boom in this industry. So we have been a big contributor to the global domestic output, although it has decreased, but still we are a major contributors. Just a final slide which says that 2019, you can see that 1 in 10 jobs, but now it is 1 in 11 jobs. But nevertheless, it is recruitments will pick up in the years to come. So just that, giving you a snapshot. And I want you people to visit fhri.org or incredibleindia.org to get more on our industry and understand how this travel trade works, and what it can offer. So I think that's about it. I think I should stop here and wait for any questions that you may have.
Can put up your screen off and come on the screen.
Sorry.
Thank you so much, for the wonderful task to us, almost you. You not only took us to your organization and how you manage it, using the nice systems and procedures, but you also give a lot of validation in terms of how your industry works. And let me also tell you, your optimism is seconded by other day I was attending one seminar, which was organized by Hindu and SR Mind organization, and it was on your subject, that is travel, tourism, and aviation. And even the experts who were there, they also had this opinion that definitely yes, once the pandemic is over, and this sector will be the first one to pick up, and there are a lot of opportunities and ropes available, and people can have a good career. It's just that we are passing through a rough patch, as we can call, and that is how we are here on this. But once again, every time I hear you, 4 times I heard, I think you have been doing better than the previous one. And I always try. And as I've been talking to you, it is worth spending some time with you in person. Write down the case study. It can be very good material and knowledge building, as you say. And since this session is recorded, it could be what we know as we are building knowledge. I'll share the link with you so that you also in leisure can go through as to how you appear for yourself when you are giving this kind of lectures. So indeed, it was a pleasure talking to you. Before I go to an announcement, I am a student, Maimunisa, who proposed a vote of thanks. Then you can log off. Done.
Yeah.
A lot of your time.
No, thank you very much, sir. It's pleasure. I am very happy to have spent time. Only sad thing is that I am not in the classroom. I would have been very happy to be in front of all these future leaders. I look forward to an opportunity. Hope that the pandemic gets over fast and I'm able to come and just spend some time with all of them, interact, understand, because it is going to be learning for me, understanding what are their views, what they see, what they are looking into the future. That's very important. I will certainly want to come one day and spend time. Thank you very much, sir.
Hope to see you in the class next year for the same lecture. Now it's time for my students to come on line and propose vote of thanks. After that, we may leave. We'll have just 1 or 2 minutes with our students for internal announcement.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Maimunisa, you're on.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, friends. Respected Hema Desai, sir, our most valued invited guests, it's my privilege to propose a word of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of Chetan Business School, Ramakant sir, Anirudh sir, and my friends, a very heartily vote of thanks to you for gracing your practical experience work and sharing us with control and practices deeply in Mayur Aditya Resort. You have well control over each and every area in your resort, and you are proving that it is possible to become proper in your chosen work when you practice and control it. So thank you. Thank you so much, Mary sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, madam.
Unmute please. Unmute please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, all of you. And I wish and pray that you all have extremely successful careers, be it as an entrepreneur or be it as a employee, and you all most important, enjoy what you do. So as sir said, I'm from a technical background, but I've got into being a mechanical engineer. I'm in the hospitality trade, so I like it, so I'm here. And always be grateful, to have gratitude. That is very important. Every day is learning. See, today all of us are on the same platform, 60 of us trying to interact. Something has brought us together. So these things are very vital. We should be grateful and thankful for every small blessing that has come our way today. We are privileged, you should say. So I thank all of you. I wish you all the very best. I look forward to interacting with you in person. And if you have any query, take my number from sir. Do call me. If you need any help, please. I'll be very happy to show you around and we can learn from each other. All the very best. God bless you. Thank you very much. I'll log off, sir, now. I'll log off.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Students, stay back for a minute. Professor Anil, there's some announcements for all of
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. To start with, I joined in later part of the session, but I'm sure there was a lot to learn, and I suppose everyone has taken good advantage of this session, sir. Having said this, there is one company by name textbook.com which has been kind enough to extend their support with allowing us, when I say us, the students, to take up a aptitude test. This test is on Sunday, that is 6th June, and the test is for 1 hour. Okay. Thing that you need to do is, if you can take the test anytime between 11 to 7, 11 in the morning to 7 in the evening, anytime. But once you start the test, you have to take it complete. You should complete it within 1 hour. Okay. So the aptitude test pattern is: verbal aptitude is for 30 questions, quantitative aptitude is for 30 questions, and logical reasoning is for 30 questions. So all put together it is 90 questions. If you want to take this test, I'll be passing on a registration link through which you have to register yourself. Okay. Any doubts? Any doubts, anyone?
No, sir.
Sir, is this for everyone, sir?
all of
If you are
you.
interested, yes.
Register, and they will be giving a follow-up also to you. You'll be doing the customer hand holding will also happen with you later once your results are there. And it's just a matter of 1 hour on Sunday. And the range is also convenient. There's nothing like you have to do at exactly one point in time. Morning 11 to 7 is the time. Please log in, register yourself, take the test. Your confidence will be on. Okay. So that's a arrangement we have made for you. And this organization volunteers to come forward and help us. So that is the request. Okay. Professor will send the link to you in the group, and all of you register and make use of it. Yes. So thank you so much.
Thank
I
you, sir.
think Raj Patil's first class, I think was right. Was it Guraj Patil's class at 11 o'clock? Anyway, whosoever's class is there next, please tune it and convey my apologies for overshooting the time almost 25 minutes. Okay, and thank you so much. We are logging off now for this particular session. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.